Hey guys, this is JFX. Today I'm going to show you my JFX indicator and I'm going to explain how to use it. So let's check out the settings here. We have the signal strength, we have pivot 1, pivot 2. Alright, if we go into style, you see it says show New York session, so it'll highlight the New York session in the background. And we also have the show London session. As you can see, it overlaps between each other, showing the session between New York and London session of which candles were executed during these sessions here, right? So, oops. So if we go back here, we have the pivot 1, and you can change the color to whatever you want. I just leave it on default. Then you have the pivot 2, which is the red, and then you have the buy label, which is marked in green. You can change it to any color that you want. And we also have the sell label. So let me go ahead and turn these back off. So let me explain about signal strength. Signal strength is basically the strength at which you want to see more sell and buy signals. The higher your signal is, the less that you'll see signals, and it reduces the chance of false signals. As you can see here, if we have this buy signal here, and if you were to take this trade, say right here after this candle, and you ride it all the way up to here, you can gain about almost 150 pips before seeing that next sell signal. Whereas if you were to change the strength of the signal here, let's say to maybe about 30, you'll see more buy and sell signals. But if you put it at a lower signal, you may have more false signals. So I will be careful with this. If you put it down to like 10, as you can see here, you see the little false signals here. Like say for example, if you were to take the sell, you would gain a little bit of pips before you will be stopped out. So let's for example here, I put this little sell. You will probably gain about maybe 16 pips before going into drawdown and eventually being stopped out. So it's not really recommended to put it to a very low signal strength, but it's up to you. But I mean, if you want to go to a lower time frame, maybe like the 5-minute, and use a lower signal strength, then it's probably fine. For example, if you use a signal strength of 10, and we were to take the sell, maybe you probably can still get a couple scalps in, maybe 20 pips before this buy signal on this next 5-minute candle here. So like I said, in short, it's recommended to use a lower strength signal for scalps and a longer strength signal on the longer time frame. So for example, 110, and we do it on maybe like the 4-hour. You see here that we have the cleaner results here. Let me move draw in here. So if we were to take the sell on this 4-hour candle, on the next candle here, and write it down, we can catch about 100 pips, 110 pips before you know, hitting this wick here and riding all the way back up. So let's go back to the settings here. So we have the pivot 1 and the pivot 2 here. It's basically these lines right here. It shows you the trend direction. As you can see here, you see how when this candle here marks a sell signal, you see how the lines just go in this down direction like that. It just shows you or gives you confluence on the trend direction, and you can also change it, change the settings to your liking. So basically, pivot 1 and pivot 2 are just EMA lines, I guess you can say. I recommend the 8 and 20 pivot 1 and pivot 2 settings for maybe a scalp. And if you want to do a longer time frame, maybe like the 1 hour, I would recommend a maybe 20 to 50. And as you can see here, how the lines just go up in this up direction, give you the buy signal here. Now the rule of thumb, I wouldn't take any trades in between the lines. I will wait for confirmation of the signal for it to be above the 2 lines for a buy or under the 2 lines for a sell. So I wouldn't take this trade until maybe right here and just ride it up like that. So let me remove the drawing. So let me go ahead and go over this 30-minute Forex intraday scalping strategy. So let's go to the 30-minute. So there's one more indicator I want you to add with my indicator. All right, so it's called let me see. Close that out. If you go under support, if you type in support, you will see this indicator called support resistance dynamic V2. It's by this guy right here, Lonesome the Blue. So let's go ahead and implement it in our chart here. I already have it set here. So if you want to copy my settings, I'm gonna go ahead and display it right here. So pause the video if you need to get the settings here for the inputs. All right, so I'm gonna go to style now, and you can just pause the video if needed to copy my settings. So we hit OK. All right, so basically this is how the whole rules go with my indicator and the SRV2 indicator. So so the first thing we want to do is we want to identify the buy or sell signal, right? So before I even do that, we want to make sure on the 30-minute that we want to change our signal strength to 75, pivot 1 to 8, and pivot 2 to 20. Right? As you can see here, we have tighter lines on the 30-minute. Right? So I'm going to use this example right here. You see this buy candle right here. So first we want to identify the buy or sell signal, right? So we have this buy signal right here. All right, so 2A says wait for price to break and close past both pivots after the signal has been activated, or 2B confirm signal price is already above or above both pivots, right? So in this situation, it will be 2A. So we will wait for the price to break and close past both pivots after the signal has been activated. So in this case, it will be this right here, because this candle already break and close past these 2 pivots right here, right? But I will wait to take this signal or take this trade right here until price breaks above this resistance line right here. So if we go to our replay option right here, all right. Now with this indicator, SRV2 indicator, if we look back at our settings here, our resistance color line is red and our support color line is green. So if you know basic terminology when it comes to support and resistance, resistance is the roof of our house and the support is the floor of our house. So right, so this is our resistance right here. This is our support. So if we go forward, we have our buy signal, right? This is our buy signal. Price is above these two pivots, which give us confluence to get it in this trade. But I'm not going to get into this trade until price breaks above this resistance right here. So as you can see, price did not break above this resistance, so I will wait, right? So if we go forward, the next candle, this will be our entry because price went over our old resistance, turned into new support. As you can tell by the color of the bar, it is now green. So I will get into this trade here, right? So now the rule number 3 says target 30 pip stop loss and 30 to 45 pips take profit. So 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio. So we will have a stop loss of 30. In this case, it will be 300 ticks. And if you want to do a 1-to-1, you could do 30 pips. Or if you want to, you could do 45 pips. Also, if you want to, you see this next resistance line right here, you could also take your profit up to this next resistance line right here if you want to. So it will be a little bit less than 45 pips. In this case, it would be around about close to 40 pips, right? So I'll just put the TP at this resistance line here. So now let's go ahead and go forward. As you can see, this next candle, it retests this new support. Go forward again. As you can tell on this next candle here, it goes under this new support, and now it turned back to resistance. But you can see this wick rejecting our pivot, right? So we will wait. We will be in a little bit of drawdown, which is fine. If we continue, as you can see now, this next candle turned the old resistance now into new support again. If we continue, as you can see now, this candle right here wicked off this pivot again, and basically this other pivot right here. And then we continue. Now we're in the green. It rejected this pivot, and now this support. So now if we continue, boom, boom. And as you can see now, this resistance now turned into support because this price is over this new support line. So, and as you can see, we hit full TP on our trade. It's really simple as that. All right, so let's do a sell situation. Let me find one for you. I want to sell. All right, so now for a sell, let's identify the sell signal. This will be our sell signal, right? So step 1 is completed. Now for rule number 2, in this case, this would be 2B because we want to confirm the signal price is already below or above both pivots. In this situation, price is already below these two pivot points. So next we would just go ahead and target 30 pip stop loss and 30 to 45 pip take profit. Because granted, that's the ideal stop loss and take profit when it comes to intraday trading. So we do our short position tool. We want to target 30 pips. And if you want to, you can target either 30 pips where 30 pip take profit, which will exactly be at our line, our next line down here. Or if you want to try to profit a little bit more, you can do 45 pips, which will be 1.5 risk to reward ratio. So in this situation, as you can see, price continue to go down until it hit this next support, which now turned into resistance, the new resistance. Once it broke past this new resistance, it went up a little bit, formed support a little bit, just basically a retest, and then that next candle it just went all the way down here, and this eventually became the new support before going in a consolidation and going down, then up a little bit, then back all the way down here, up. Just basically playing around here. But basically, like I said, this indicator works very, very well. It works on all time frames. You just have to play around with the settings. But I will have optimal settings on my website soon on the numbers for the pivots. But like I said, for this strategy right here on the 30 minutes, signal strength of 75. A pivot 1 is 8. Pivot 2 is 20. And the best pairs to really trade this on is any of the GBP pairs. USD pairs is okay, but sometimes, especially nowadays, news kind of USD news a lot kind of makes things, a little risky. So anything GBP related for right now, it works best on. So all right. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Telegram. My name is JFX. Other than that, have a good day.